You are listening to WRFG Atlanta. WRFG provides a voice for those who have been traditionally denied access to the broadcast media through the involvement of a broad base of community elements to guarantee that access. In the utilization of the facilities and in its programs, the following communities will receive first priority: those who continue to be denied free and open access to the broadcast media, and those who suffer oppression or exploitation based upon class, race, sex, age, creed, sexual orientation, disability, or immigrant status.
To learn how you can support WRFG's mission, please go to wrfg.org.
Good morning, Blues. WRFG Atlanta.
Good morning, Blues. We'll brighten up your day as you put on your shoes. Yeah, yeah. You know it's got to be the way to wake up each and every day on WRFG in Atlanta. Good morning, Blues.
Good morning, Blues.
Good morning, Blues. This is Tony O'Malley on WRFG Atlanta.
Well, good morning, folks. It's still 90 degrees. I'm still sick of it. I did call my Canadian friends and go, please, what's it going to take? Just blow us some frost or something, you know? I'm surrounded by pictures of polar bears frolicking, anything to make me feel cooler. I've had enough, but it looks like we've got a whole nother week yet. What's it been? 7, 9 weeks? I forget. But anyway, upwards and onwards. We have quite a smorgasbord for you today. Blues, rock, jazz, rock and roll, even some bossa nova blues. All kinds of goodies, and something not so good. Got to do a little testimonial to the great NICKY Moore, who passed a few days ago. A lot of you may not know who he was, so that's why you need to know. What else do you need to know? You need to know we have a fabulous guest today. And I think I'll tell you a lot more about him in about 10 minutes. But meanwhile, scribble, 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 Google, Google, look up Mr. Todd Sharpville. And you're going to hear a lot of great music, but also you're going to hear about a super important subject relevant to everybody who would likely be listening or know of this program. It's about musicians' mental health. Don't miss this, okay?
Get your tickets and join us for WRFG's 37th Annual Labor Day Blues Barbecue. It's Monday, September 5th at the Park Tavern in Piedmont Park. It's going to be a great afternoon of live blues featuring straight from Chicago, Little Ed and the Blues Imperials. And along with Little Ed, we'll hear from this year's Blues Barbecue honoree, Atlanta's own Frankie's Blues Mission. Plus, we'll get electrifying sets from the Casanovas, Ray and the Royal Peacocks, and Chester Leathers featuring Nathan Nelson. Bring your appetite because the Park Tavern will be selling tasty barbecue and cool libations. Blues barbecue tickets are $20 in advance via WRFG.org or $25 at the door. Kids under 12, as always, get in free. We look forward to seeing you at the 37th Annual WRFG Labor Day Blues Barbecue on Monday, September 5th at the Park Tavern in Piedmont Park. We'll open the doors at noon. The music will start at 1 and won't stop until 7:30. The Park Tavern is located at 10th Street and Monroe Drive Northeast in Midtown Atlanta. Additional funding is provided by the Atlanta Blues Society and the Big Green Egg. Proceeds benefit WRFG 89.3 FM, your independent community radio station for hand-picked quality music and progressive information.
I was actually at the Park Tavern Sunday for the sunset sessions. Little says he making sure he's had his coffee this morning with Mr. Blair Crimmins. And we had some hookers too. Very dodgy. Anyway, they've made some additions if you haven't been there in recent months, in the sense that I think it's a little more closed in and the AC works even better. So that will be great to have even more territory closed in and protected for the barbecue. It's now a really nice big space compared to what it was years ago with a flimsy tent. So And you can still walk in and out, but nice job with the bar and all that stuff. So this will be fun. The Blues Barbecue lineup is posted everywhere, and you just heard about it. I will take you off this morning on a gentle slope. Not too sleepy, just gentle. And we'll start with all the ladies that I've rustled up for this. That'll be a nice little kickoff. Well, let's start with this lady that was all the news recently at Newport. This is a track from yet another compilation of her not so much lost stuff, but rare stuff from early 70s. And I thought it would be a great song to begin with. It's Joni Mitchell.
Driving into town with a dark cloud above you, dialing the number who's bound to love you. Oh, honey, you turn me on. I'm a radio, I'm a country station, I'm a little bit corny, I'm a wildflower waiting for you, broadcasting tower waiting for you, and I'm sending out this signal here. Hope you can pick it up loud and clear. I know you don't like weak women, you get bored so quick. And you don't like strong women, cause they're hip to your tricks. It's been dirty for dirty down the line, but you know I come when you whistle and you're loving and kind. If you've got too many doubts, if there's no good reception for me, then tune me out. Cause honey, who needs the static? It hurts the head and you wind up cracking, and the day goes dismal from breakfast party to the sign of prayer. What a sorry face you get to wear. I'm gonna tell you again now, if you're still listening there. If you're driving into town with the dark cloud above you, dialing the number who's bound to love you. If you're lying on the beach with the transistor going, kick off the sand flies, honey, the love's still flowing. If the head says forget it, but your heart's still smoking, call me at the station, the lines are open.
Handed me a box of trouble, didn't see it coming on. Got them blue skies in my vision, I'm gonna kiss them all gone. Thought I knew where I was headed, your driver's seat had turned me on. Oh, the past and the present, I drove into a Robert Johnson song. You took my flight, no end in sight, there's no more
about my fabulous guest that I have today to share with you, Mr. Todd Sharpville, somewhere in deepest, darkest London. Someone I've known 20 years, neither of us can remember how or where. He was actually on the program about 15 years ago for his album Porch Light. He's made, how shall I put it, the right number of albums when it's relevant. Not put one out every year, but probably every 3, something like that, when it's something worth sharing with the rest of the planet. And that's, to me, relevant because there's a lot of people go above and beyond and put out too much stuff. But I think what's key to the album we're going to be talking about today, Medication Time, is that with what we've all been through the last few years, the focus really is on musicians' mental health. And I think using this album and its content and the pictures and his experiences as a platform, aside from a great piece of music, I think it has an agenda of its own just in that realm. I believe I saw somewhere before COVID, there was a report that around 73% of independent music makers suffered from symptoms of mental illness, mostly anxiety and depression, and they were very common, but they were all negative. And it's a very stressful job to be a musician in the sense that so much has to be created and you've got to sell yourself and you've got to constantly improve, constantly book work each week or be good enough to have an agent to do that for you. So there's a lot in that. Now, since COVID, of course, so many people have experienced life with their partner in a far more intense living condition, and it's exposed a lot of bad relationships. Well, imagine the opposite. Imagine a lot of musicians do live alone or don't necessarily share the property with their partner, boyfriend, girlfriend, doing their own thing. The loneliness that came into it when your only outlet was being in a room either at a show or performing a show, and all that kind of stuff, really hit home and hurt a lot of people. So he himself suffered greatly a while ago. He's fine now, except the occasional twitch that I don't remind him about. I'm just kidding. And you can't have Todd without Genghis the Wonder Dog. He's a one-eyed wonder dog, I should say. I guess Todd's in his early 50s or just about 50. What makes him unique outside of the music that we can talk about, because he's not listening, we can talk about it now. He's probably the only blue-blooded blues man that you're ever going to meet because he's actually a member of the aristocracy, old chap. So you have to talk proper and put your little pinky out when you pour the tea and watch your P's and Q's if you're going to engage with Mr. Sharpville. His real name is so long and you wouldn't listen or write it down, but he's the son of the 3rd Viscount St. David's. So yes, he's well educated, but he's still a regular bloke. Calls himself a string fondler. I have a picture of him kissing me. No, truly, if you came across him at a concert or hanging out in the bar, you'd have a wonderfully engaging conversation with an intelligent blues man. No airs or graces. His lovely lady girlfriend of some years now, he keeps threatening to marry. He doesn't deserve her whatsoever, but isn't that, typical of a musician? But seriously, you're going to love hearing this album and hearing it from the horse's mouth himself. So look out for that. Probably coming up in 15, 20 minutes.
Following is a public affairs bulletin board announcement brought to you by your station for progressive information and handpicked quality music, WRFG 89.3 FM, WRFG.org. On Saturday, August 13th, there will be a worker power training session to take place at the IBEW Auditorium, 501 Pulliam Street Southwest in Atlanta, 30312. This is geared for all low-wage workers, fast food, retail, care work, or any other low-paid job who want to learn about worker rights and how to organize a union at their workplace. Additional details and registration can be found at bit.ly/worker power 813. Lunch and childcare will be provided. This training is sponsored by the Atlanta chapter of Raise Up, a worker-led organization with members across the South. Again, the date is Saturday, August 13th. The location, 501 Pulliam Street Southwest in the IBEW Auditorium. And additional information can be found at bit.ly/worker power.
Sorry, a couple of things I forgot. Todd has actually played all over Europe at big festivals and even in Russia, and he's always doing something, always busy. And he did a huge 6-month lockdown with a proper band streaming all the time. It was quite an accomplishment. So yeah, I believe he was also supposed to open for Eric Clapton in the UK and Europe tour. Things went sideways at the last minute due to some other instances. But anyway, hugely well-known, well-established. The other thing I forgot to tell you was the music we had played right before that was, as introduced, Joni Mitchell, You Turn Me On, I'm a Radio. And this is from another compilation of some very early stuff that's due out anytime, followed by Miss Coco O'Connor, a song called No Crossroads. We're going to continue with another lady, keep the lady music rolling, and I'll tell you about her in a sec.
Looking out my window, I was staring out at the rain. Oh, looking out my window. Oh, I was staring out at the rain. Oh, and then something struck me, clamped on me like a ball and chain. I said, oh,
again, looking like a fool again. What a little waste for a taste of a big boy's life. I'm scared for the children. Computer screens and magazines, manufactured hopes and dreams, playing in a concrete box cause mother's got shows to watch. I'm scared for the children. This is the end of the age of the innocent. One more game before they go. This is the end of the age of the innocent. What do we leave them with? Suppose we'll never know. Processed screens and man-made meat, running out of things to eat. Little boys having way too much fun playing with the big boys gone. I'm scared for the children. And on the day the last bird dies, there won't be a drop from the big square eyes. An old man with his eyes like glass kisses the last blade of grass. Yeah, I'm scared for the children. This is the end of the age of the innocent. One more game before they go. This is the end of the age of the innocent. What will we leave them with? I suppose we'll never know.
Jeff Beck with Rosie Bones doing Scared for the Children, which is really all about guns and the climate situation as we're in a sensitive mode today, talking about musicians' mental health. Before that, TERRI ODABI, a statuesque lady from Oakland, California, who plays a lot of festivals for her live show, doing a cover of Big Mama Thornton's Ball and Chain. We're going to move on to a couple of things. If you were a fan of The Clash and then went on to enjoy Joe Strummer, you must be thrilled about the massive compilation that's coming out of all the stuff he left behind that his poor wife has been wading through for quite a long while to get it right with some help. What I've got for you is a 1999 home demo of the song The Road to Rock and Roll, which is a Mescaleros track you can find back on those albums. It was actually a folk march written for Johnny Cash. And in it, he's saying, hey, if you don't believe in good and evil, then you better tell the devil why. in all this stuff that's coming out, there's a booklet and handwritten instructions for album packaging. Lots of his scripted scribbles and stuff to go with the songs. Apparently, he was a big fan of the fax because he could write the words and then write pictures to go with it and draw on them and fax them to people. So anyway, I just thought you would find that interesting in the connection. Before we roll into a quick tribute to Nicky Moore. Nicky Moore was originally the singer for heavy metal band Samson. And then around the mid to late 90s, he started the Nicky Moore Blues Corporation and kept that going. He might have done the odd metal festival here and there, but that was his main gig for a while. He died last week at 75 of Parkinson's. So I've made a quick medley of things to show you what he was about. And that should bring us up to medication time.
Some you recognize used to hang out on the scene. On the road to rock and roll, you'll be in the Delta by and by. If you don't believe in good and evil, you better tell the devil why. On the road to rock and roll, come on everybody, drift away. On the road to rock and roll, where I learned to play. On the road to rock and roll, everybody carries a good luck charm, said to spook the highway wind, blowing off old Parchment Farm. On the road to rock and roll, they'll try to hook you by the eye, take that mirror in your darkest house and turn it to the sky. On the road to rock and roll, come on everybody, drift away. On the road to rock and roll, where I learned to play. On the road to rock and roll, come on everybody, drift away. On the road to rock and roll, where I learned to play.
It's 89 volt. It's 89 volt, man, and you're listening to WRFG Atlanta Good Morning Blues with UK Bob. London to Louisiana. Dude plays the best music, man. Tune in, drop out, dig it.
Teardrop by teardrop, you broke my heart. Little by little, you tore it apart. Such a pretender, so sweetly she lied. I was defenseless. I had nowhere to hide. When it's all said and done, your turn will come one day. One day, somebody help me, please do. Give me asylum till I get both through. I'm down on my knees. My life has no meaning. I'm drifting at sea. When it's all said and done, your turn will
we were celebrating Nicky Moore with that big voice. Hog on a Log, about something to do with smoking some strange material that you would add into your tobacco. Not quite sure what that's all about. Preceded by That's the Blues, his upbeat arrangement of Bill Withers' Use Me Up, and Your Turn Will Come. Let's go talk to Mr. Todd Sharpville.
This Sunday, take a cruise down Route 66. Route 66 celebrates a special time when jazz, R&B, and blues were all on the same page and often in the same song. The focus is on the music of the jump blues and early rock and roll eras of the 40s to mid-50s and how those styles have evolved over the years. It's truly great American music that scared some folks half to death.
That two-beat pattern is the music brought to the United States of America by the communist conspiracy to corrupt teenagers.
Well, whatever. Please join us Sunday morning from 7 to 9 for Route 66 on WRFG 89.3 FM. Your independent community radio station is streaming worldwide over our free mobile app and WRFG.org.
Hi, this is Dana Gillespie from London, England, to tell you about the second best way to wake up. Just tune in to UK Bob and his Good Morning Blues show and feel good for 4 hours on WRFG Atlanta.
It's Good Morning Blues on a Thursday, and I'm very lucky to have a chat with a lovely bloke, the last man to give me a kiss, Mr. Todd Sharpville. How are you, mate? All right?
I'm good, thank you, man.
You forgot about that, didn't you?
I never forget my kisses.
Then where was it?
It was in London at the Cabin Free House, wasn't it?
All right, you're good, you're good. No, you're supposed to say Bobby was upstairs at the Cavern. Anyway, super new album of yours, Medication Time. Thoroughly enjoying having that to play. And now that it's out, going to be playing a lot more of it. Especially as, judging by the way the world has gone, the fact that musicians' mental health really came to the fore during COVID. I think this album has a lot to say.
Thanks. Yeah, I mean it's pretty heart and sleeve, but as I get older, I'm doing my best to be as heart and sleeve and as honest as possible. And we all have our mental health problems at some point or another. I mean we're all humans. We're all vulnerable.
It has indeed been brought out by the conditions that we've all been through the last coming up for 3 years, I guess, and the effect it's had on so many people, but I think more so on the music side because everybody related, whether they were sound techs, bar staff, booking agents, not just the musicians themselves. Everybody was out of work. The venues were the last to open of all the establishments, so the impact of having no money and having to stay home a lot with people perhaps you don't know as well as you thought can get to you in time, but I just want to know that come September when I see you, can I borrow your straitjacket?
I don't know if it will fit you by then.
Oh, that's just mean. Yeah, I'm older than you. I'm allowed to have a few extra pounds.
I was talking about me, actually.
Oh, okay.
The straitjacket's getting bigger and bigger every day.
Now, just so that people don't know that you're taking advantage of a situation, this is a genuine situation for you in history, and you spent time in Wales. And I know that folks in America will think, all right, so we're talking about you spending a few months in a tank somewhere. They'll have the impression of One Flew Over the Cuckoo's Nest, which, of course, is a long way from reality. What was it like?
Much of it was a blur at the time. I mean, it was about two months in a mental hospital, but the first week while I was waiting for the facility that they wanted me to go to for it to have a space available, the first place I went to was in Carmarthen, which was an old Dickensian building that kind of was a bit old-fashioned and was very One Flew Over the Cuckoo's Nest. And I was there for a week before I was then moved to a more modern place. So I kind of got a taste of both both circumstances. But it was, like I say, it was sort of a blur. There were a lot of tears. I was catatonic for the first few weeks. Except I was still writing songs, which was a bit nutty. And they let me have my guitar for periods of time to write with, but I was under 24-hour surveillance kind of thing, just in case I was planning on garroting myself with a guitar string or something. Very, very surreal. The most sort of vulnerable place I think I've ever visited in my life in terms of my personal experiences. But what I'm trying to convey with this album to a certain degree is that there are so many positives that came with the situation. When you fall to pieces, you can see yourself quite clearly in bits on the floor, and it gives you an opportunity to rebuild yourself, possibly a slightly better version of yourself. There's all kinds of pieces that can be left on the floor. And if I could change any of that with a push of a button now, looking back historically, I wouldn't. I mean, there's many, dire places I've been in my life that I'm grateful for because they've helped make me who I am. And life is all about peaks and troughs, and these troughs all inevitably lead to peaks. And it's important for people to understand that no matter how desperate and endless some of the troughs feel at the time, that there's always a peak waiting just around the corner, which is always worth holding out for.
That's probably the most important thing. I was going to ask you about, you've answered everything I was going to ask anyway, because it obviously helped you big time, and the fact that you don't regret any of it, and coming to the final breakdown part of seeing where you were and what you needed to do is a very, very good image for those that are currently struggling. So, listeners, you heard it from the horse's mouth. There is help out there, and I know that you know that there's plenty of places that you can look up and go to or ask a friend, and you will get the help necessary. So don't hesitate to jump in and take advantage of the services out there. And if you want any more living proof from that, go look up Todd on YouTube and watch him rocking out and listen to some of the great music he plays, and it will inspire you, I can assure you. What I found inspiring in the album is the strong and carefully limited combinations of the personnel involved. I didn't know Larry until probably recently with that recent album that he put out, which was phenomenal. So Larry McRae, you had doing a duet with you, which we're going to play. You had Sugar Ray, and the man at the helm, Mr. Duke Robillard himself.
Yeah, Duke produced a previous album for me, and he's a dear old friend, and the personnel that we work with in the States are dear old friends. And I find increasingly, the older I get, the more I like to work with musicians who understand my gibberish and who get where I'm at straight away. And the recording process is always quite effortless and joyful with that. And that's imbued all over the album.
I would imagine from, I see players from late teens, early 20s to guys in their 70s. I would imagine what comes with that is a certain calm and an understanding from them that they don't shake or get frustration. They just drop right in because they've aged enough where there's no panic factor that comes in. I think, just trying to think, I don't know how, I guess Sugar Ray's in his late 60s. How old is Larry?
Larry is, let me get this right, I'm pretty sure Larry's about 57, 58.
So he's probably the youngest, I would think. Duke is in his 70s, right?
Yeah, I mean, Larry lives in Detroit, and I was recording in Rhode Island, and he phoned me when I was organising the schedule when I was back in London to say, look, I've got a couple of nights off, so I'm going to fly from Detroit to Rhode Island to come pay you a visit, because we hadn't caught up in quite some time. And then the moment I put down the phone, I realised, oh my God, if Larry's coming to the studio, we ought to record something together. And what's more, that period of time in the mental hospital back in Wales all those years ago, Larry phoned me religiously when I was there and was my big brother through the experience, trying to keep my spirits up and give me some brotherly advice. So he was very much part of that story. And so the song that we recorded together, I really wrote about our friendship, the ups and downs we faced through life, and how in the choruses, whenever we come together, we're like Fozzie Bear and Kermit the Frog, and we put it behind us, and we have a couple of drinks, and we play some blues together, and we laugh, you know.
Well, then it's very important that that's the first song we're going to play this morning, Brothers from Another Mother. And Larry McRae is all over the news from this current year, probably April, May time, with his own fabulous solo album. So what better springboard to use than the core of what the song was all about, that you're going to hear a duet, some great blues, and a terrific song from the album that we're talking about, Medication Time, from Mr. Todd Sharpville, who you're talking to, hot to trot live somewhere in not Canvey Islands. I know for sure it's going to be London town, but you're going to hear more about the album, about him, and tracks like this one.
The hope of ever being found, and I swam with sharks who dragged me down. I was stabbed in the back by disloyal friends, scarred by the tracks on my arms again. I couldn't handle the hurt inside. I still can't stand it when the good ones die. Caught by the jaws of the lion mouth, I fought the law and it spat me out. But we're brothers from another mother. When we bleed, we're the same color. Blues hounds, chained and tethered, howling at the moon together. Shame. I question what I know is true. Lost the will to beat those blues. Felt that whip up on my back. Tied some virgins to the railway tracks. I cheated death and cried in pain. Swore I'd never love again. But we're brothers from another mother. Same color, blues hounds, chained and tethered, howling at the moon together.
Good morning, blues. This is Marcus Malone on the other side of the Atlantic in jolly London, England. You're listening to my top mate, UK Bob, playing the best of British blues on WRFG Atlanta. What a way to start the day. Oh, yeah.